coming to you from Galactic Womb Studios inside Casa GTO.
You are now tuned in to the podcast by creatives, for creatives, music nerds, weirdos, outcasts, misfits, and high frequency humans.
If you are out of place in outer space, you've landed, baby. Welcome to
the Trigger Words Podcast.
Yo, welcome to the Trigger Words Podcast. My name is Arturo Bars.
My name is Felipe.
Doctor.
Thank
you for joining us. If this is your first time, it's because this is our first episode, so there's no other time. So stop being a poser, dude. Like, why are you even pretending like you know what's going on? We will explain to you what's going on with this whole podcast, but is podcast the right word for what we're doing here, Felipe, or what do you think?
At this moment, I would say this is a podcast, but for us, trigger words it's a loaded question. You know, it's a loaded term, trigger words.
Yeah, for us. Okay, so who are we? Felipe, you want to give them a little bit of the background, where you come from, what you do, what you've done in the scene, what you play, what you're into?
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm Felipe Iruegas from here, San Antonio, Texas, where we are currently residing.
Yes, sir.
My resume here, I've been playing music for about 15 years. Currently, bass player of Los Nahuatlatos, the San Antunes. I've got some projects that I've been working on with my colleague Arturo Bars. We got it coming up called The Dwip. Drunken Wizards Impersonating Physicians. Be on the lookout for that.
Hold up.
I also got some solo projects coming up. We'll talk more about that later on. What you got going on, man? Let us know.
Well, my name is Arturo Bars. I'm an MC. I came up with in a rap duo called the I-35 Connect with my homie Omar C. That's Oscar Martinez. Shout out to him. And through that process, I actually met Joaquin Muerte, and then who is the founder and one of the two original lasting members from Los Nahuatlatos. And he let me rock one day on stage with him, and that's how I met Felipe. That's how I met everybody else, and it's what's really propelled my journey with the music stuff. But because of Los Nahuatlatos, I've been able to branch into a psychedelic hip hop blues band called Radio Tierra. Besides that, also play with Felipe in the San Antunes, getting that wedding money, cause that'd be very nice. And then now, because of this quarantine, we formed another band called Trigger Words. That's right. So I know that there's a lot of people who's like, okay, you've been in all these bands. What's going on? Like, what makes you think you can have a podcast? Everybody's got a podcast. Why should I listen to your podcast? Felipe, why should they even care about our podcast?
Because we got a lot to say. And not only do we have a lot to say, but it's not all going to be about, oh, we're just sitting here and we're talking about this and we're talking about that. This is going to be a new experience in podcasting. Like I said, I'm struggling with the word podcast for this. It's just because this is the platform that we're applying it into, but the Trigger Words Podcast will include music. Every episode, we're going to have a brand new song for them, aren't we? Yeah, we got one for every episode. We already have them lined up.
So every single episode, you're going to get a brand new song from Trigger Words, the band, right? What else are we going to get? We're going to get a brand new skit where we make you laugh, we make you think, we make you just kind of step outside of reality. So you get a song and you get a skit, every single one. What else are we going to give them, dog?
It's a large variety. We got a lot of things to offer, and we're happy to share them with you.
Absolutely. And one of those other things that we got is going to be some interviews. We are going to get some people either in the studio, or we are going to give them a call and do the socially distanced, coronavirus aware thing. You know how it goes right now. And another fun thing I want to do for the podcast is I also want to give you like the word of the day, right? Like this song, this project is called Trigger Words. It's only fitting that we give you a little vocabulary lesson. Um, so we are going to be giving you that. But besides that, we're going to talk a little bit about current events, what's going on in the world, locally, nationally, throughout the whole entire globe.
Like you said, current events going on, and that's probably the biggest, most current thing happening to all of us out here.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We're going to try to keep you informed. We are brand new at this. We're giving it our fair crack at it, and we hope that you ride with us. We're going to have a lot of fun stuff for you guys. Felipe, so, you and I are going to be the guys in front of the microphones. We're going to be the guys in front of the cameras. I know you guys can't see, but we are filming this for possible future release. We'll see how that goes. But who else is involved with Trigger Words as far as the band, the production, the mixing, engineering, and all that? Who else we got in here, man?
This was all born from quarantine, to be honest. Like you mentioned, COVID, current events. Yourself, Sarah Rocha, Luis Gonzalez has been a part of it. He's the newest addition, and myself.
Well, we are actually going to get Luis in here to do his own episode, and we will get him on record to say what he's going to do, what he's going to provide, and what he's going to be all about when it comes to the podcast.
I can't wait, man. So, he's a man of few words, so I can't wait to hear what he's got to say.
Absolutely. You know what? I would love to just kind of get in detail about, a little bit of his past. A lot of the times it's always been very before the coronavirus, and we should explain BC, which is before Corona, and AC, which is after Corona. So we'll be doing a lot of that just so you're kind of hip to the lingo.
That's really cool, man. Where'd you get that from?
Oh, man. From my muse, the beautiful Miss Erykah Badu. I just, she had her quarantine series, and I don't know if she came up with it or what, but that's how I got hip to it. So anyway, shout out to a for sure future listener of Trigger Words, Erykah Badu. Shout out to her. So yeah. So BC, we were going hard with the music, and it's sometimes like it feels like we're getting to know a lot of our friends and a lot of our families for the first time in a long time, because we've been able to pause. And through this podcast, I want to really be able to dig deep and speak to some people who we've just been stuck in the nonstop world of music with, and I want to get to know them, and I want our audience to also get to know them.
Right.
So, anyways, without further ado, we're gonna start with our very first song. This is a song by Trigger Words, the band, not the podcast. This is Luis, who has a solo at the end. This is Sarah, who plays bass on it. Felipe wrote the tune. He actually had the melody. And then I did my best on drums, and I wrote most of the lyrics on it. So we're going to go ahead and check that out, and then we'll go ahead and get back and we'll talk about it. Let's check that out. This is Burn by Trigger Words. Yo, welcome back. That was Burn by Trigger Words, the band, not the podcast. Please don't make me explain it again. Please. So what do you think, man? What do you think our audience is gonna like about that song? What was your process with it? What are your thoughts on this track?
Well, the beginning, whenever we first started bringing it together and collaborating with it, that's when I got really excited with it. You know, I had that riff, the guitar riff that you hear that starts out the whole song is basically what we built it on.
Yeah, yeah.
I had that in my head for a while, just been messing with it, been waiting for something to come along to make something of it, and a blessing in disguise. We had plenty of time to collaborate on things, and that was one of the first ones, if not the first song we did.
Yeah, I want to say it's the first one. And not only was it the first one, but it was such a beautiful, organic moment. Like, it was the moment that musicians dream about, where everything just comes in either because of something funny that happens, or somebody just plays a riff, like which was in the case here. You played a riff and everybody caught that wave, and it was so fun. um, I remember sitting on the drums, and as we do usually here at Casa Guanajuato inside the galactic womb, we usually have some mics set up, we have some guitars plugged in, some basses, drums are ready to go, and we have the PA nice and loud so that we can start to jam. And you started playing this riff.
Yeah, I was like, yo, check this out. Started playing the riff. You brought in the beat. And that's what's been great about jamming with you guys is that it all just manifests organically. I can just bring out a riff. Sarah will come in. She'll learn it quickly. She'll throw in the bass.
She just knows what's next.
The same with you. You had the beat in your head, and then after we get, the ground for it, the core sound for it, I know that your mind races with a lot of ideas what to talk about in the song. But the way we started it, we were like, man, what should we say? What do you think this is? We're sitting down with our instruments, and Sarah comes out, and she just blurts out, "Burn it to the fucking ground." And we're just like, oh, all right, let's do it. And we ran with it. There was no hesitation. We just went straight up.
Yo, shout out. I want to give a quick shout out to our homie Anthony. Yo, this dude, this is Anthony Pearson. This dude has this great jamming exercise where sometimes, like, somebody will be playing a riff, drums will be getting played, there'll be chords on a keyboard, whatever, and he'll say, "Hey, what's this song about?" So for future jamming, for anybody who's a musician with people around to jam with, that's a great exercise. What is the song about? And that's me speaking in terms of lyrics and content, right? So as you said, Sarah blurted out, "Burn it to the fucking ground." And at least for myself, being an MC and a writer, sometimes it takes one or two words or a phrase, and my mind just goes boom.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to expand.
Yeah,
and
man. I love to see that.
Oh man, I remember that day was so beautiful, man. And what's crazy is that all of this happened because of the coronavirus. We were all stuck at home. We were quarantined.
That's right. It was early on, like the first couple of weeks into when the coronavirus hit here in Texas.
Mm-hmm. And it was like a natural reaction almost to everything going around. Like, every day was just bad news, bad news, bad. Even to today, I mean, we're in August, we're in early August, and it's still bad news every day, every day, every day, every day is bad news. So I think Sarah's energy was just like, man, burn it to the fucking ground, and next thing you know, we built these amazing lyrics and amazing riffs. And I just want to say personally, for me, on recording day, which were many because we trashed it and redid it and trashed it and we redid it.
It's a process.
It was such a process, man. And like, for some reason I'm having trouble with the metronome. And just so you know, I recorded those drums on a beat pad. Like I just kind of found some plug-in drums and I started hammering away. And we did that all in one take too. So props to us. Still trying to figure our way out through this audio engineering phase that we're still trying to figure out. I want to give a huge shout out to our homie Luis, who's helping us with the mixing, with the skits and the music, because eventually he is going to teach us, and we're gonna pay him in white women. That's
That's what he likes. You know what I'm saying? Just kidding, Luis. We love you.
Come on. But,
It gets a little intense, that song there, and when it came out, whenever the ideas came out, it was the beginning of COVID, and it just felt like things were crumbling. It felt like things were burning to the ground. It just felt right at the time. And not too long after we finished that song and started recording it, some really, really unfortunate national tragedy, I would say, happened.
Absolutely, national tragedy. It's bittersweet because of the timing of this song. It also just it tied together in such a tragically beautiful way with what's going on. When George Floyd first hit the mainstream, and we were all distraught, we were all angry, we were all feeling tension. I remember just, everybody was just kind of looking at each other like, man, if you say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, everybody's just ready to snap. Everybody was like a rubber band, just ready to snap, man. And at first we were like, oh man, this is perfect for what's going on with the coronavirus. There's like civil unrest, and people are dying, and our leadership is shit. And then George Floyd happens, and then the riots happen, the protests, all this stuff starts going on, and we're realizing that this song is encapsulating, at least for us, the first 6 months of this year, and it's organic too, because it stemmed from the quarantine, from us being sent home from our jobs, being here home, me, you, and Sarah, and just jamming and just saying what's in our hearts, saying what's on our minds, saying what needs to be said, So it ties in beautifully to trigger words. So amazing track, had such a great time doing it. So anyways, racial tension is still bullshit.
Yeah, when that video came out, it was so shocking. It's a really horrible thing going on in our country with that. That was not the first time a video like that came out. And it's not like that only happens when you see the video.
Right.
Every day it's happening.
So many that
it's
weren't
not
recorded.
Always catching the traction that we wish it would see, so we can all see the real issue that's going on in our country, which is racism. That's been going on since the beginning. And nowadays, with all of us being so hyper-connected, you can see videos of everything going on. Something like that happened, and it was like the straw that broke the camel's back.
Absolutely.
And it's not the first time, and probably won't be the last time, but that was a really big eye-opener, the George Floyd situation.
Yeah. And not only that, man, but there was also a shift in consciousness too. Like it happened with us as well as it happened with all these other artists, like mainstream artists, like all these dudes who were doing like just regular run of the mill rap music are now talking about protesting, and like even like if YG is like, yo, fuck Donald Trump,
Fuck
like
Donald Trump.
Fuck Donald Trump, like even stuff like that, like that's politically charged, right? So if there is a silver lining to all this disruption that's happened in 2020, like we thought at the beginning of the year, oh, Kobe died, that's gonna be like the tragedy of 2020. Man, little did we know that we had so much more in store.
Yeah, a lot of people were really shocked by that. I know I was.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that news and being like, wow, I can't believe that happened. It was so surreal.
Yeah.
Real quick, though, before we get a little deeper into it, I want to my heart goes out to George Floyd and his family and all that. That stuff is terrible, and to all the other victims involved. It's really horrible. My heart aches for that.
Yeah, it sucks, man. It really really sucks. And as musicians, we can't go without expressing our support for Black Lives Matter and movements such as those. Music was brought here by, you know, every single great musician is a black artist, and we're all copying off of them. I'm not saying that other raced artists didn't create great things, but we stem so much, and we're benefiting right now. I'm a rapper, dude. I'm a kid from Mexico who grew up in Texas, and I'm like light skinned, man. I'm güero, güero, güero. But hip hop is my culture, and hip hop started in the impoverished areas, always with what? Black and brown. And that's the way that it's always been, and that's where music comes from. It comes from pain, it comes from the gutter, it comes from pain and suffering, and that's where the purest music comes from. And then they take those formulas and turn it into, what it is today. So you can't say that you support music. You can't say you support the arts without saying Black Lives Matter, and
Yes, Black Lives Matter.
all day, man, all day. And speaking of, man, what's up with this white privilege, dog?
Oh man, there's a lot to say about that as well.
Karen,
Oh man, too many.
can you please calm down? Put the mayonnaise down.
The manager's not here. Just go home.
Yo, I am the manager, B. Man, I gotta say that I do kind of geek out on these Ken and Karen videos because they're just so goddamn ridiculous, man.
Oh yeah, these people are so entitled.
They're just, who do you think you are? Like, I saw this lady was like, yeah, I'm gonna go get my gun. Like, she was talking to this lady. It's like a lot of context, but I'm just gonna give you the short version. It's like, oh, well, if you don't stop filming, I'm gonna go get my gun. And she's like, what? You said you're gonna pull a gun on me? And she's like, I'm a police officer, and she wasn't. And like, that's a crime. Like, she's impersonating the law. Like, not only is she putting this person's life in danger, who 98% of the time is a black person, and we've seen the history with that. They're going to call the police, and they're going to make a big fuss out of it, and somebody's going to end up getting hurt. And for this lady to commit a federal crime and say that she's a police officer, it's just ridiculous. But I just, like, sometimes I'm on social media, and I'll see these things, and, like, sometimes, like, you go to one video, and then, like, another one will autoplay, and you just go down, like, the Karen rabbit hole.
Oh, there's too many of those videos, and that just shows that stuff's happening every day too, and that's ridiculous.
Day,
I have a friend actually. She works in a local upscale retail business here in town, and she would share with me many Karen stories every day. Yeah. They would come in and just be really entitled. They would have that attitude, and she sent me a video one time about this lady. They had put up masks. They had just opened up again because of the COVID situation. And they had to put up signs that said no entry without a mask. So you have to have a mask to go inside of the store. Right? So every day, one of these women, these Karens, would come in and act like they don't see the sign, and they would have to tell them, oh, you can't come in without a mask. You have to have a mask to come in. And the lady would just lose it. And this one time, she told me that this lady walks in, and then she got so upset that she stormed out. She kicked the door open. She ripped off the sign that said, no entry without a mask. Storms off into her car, drives over a curb, and goes off into the street. And I'm just like, man, I can't believe that y'all have to put up with that. That's terrible. And my friend, she's morenita. She's a little darker skin. She has like really big hair. So she would basically be targeted by these ladies, and it's terrible to hear about. It sucks, but
Absolutely. And also, since we're on the subject of customer service and people out here risking their lives so you can have your whatever, man, stop being an asshole to people that serve you your food, man. The stories that come out of like Whataburger drive-throughs, like, man, we love Whataburger. Treat them right. Like I can guarantee you, if that drive-through is full, it's because they got some shit. They got some work to do. Okay, they are working hard. You may be, even if you're an educated person, if you're doing a job that's this or that and you're getting paid blah, 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 you know what? Those people are still probably physically working harder than you so that you can have a hot meal. And yes, I'm sorry, sometimes you're not going to get it in under 5 minutes. All right? It's Texas. Everybody eats Whataburger and everybody fucking is hungry every 5 seconds.
and that's another thing about them is that they don't realize the work that these people have to go through all day, opposed to these Karens who basically get everything they want just like that. You know what I mean? They don't live the everyday life like a worker does.
No.
So they come across a small inconvenience, and it's like the end of the world to them. Oh my God. But on the other hand, the worker that they're berating is probably handling it a lot better and thinking like, are you really getting upset over this? It's not worth it, lady.
It's not, dude. It's not. There's a million other things that you should be using that energy for good.
Yeah.
Leave workers alone. Yo, man. So, how are you doing at work? How is your work life doing right now? You doing good?
Yeah, it's been good. Working hard.
Working hard.
Getting back into the groove of things. Getting a little more normal every
little
day.
Little more schedule changes here and there.
Oh, yeah.
Keep working some nights.
Plenty of schedule changes.
Man, they always keep us on our toes.
But you got to roll with the punches,
Word. Well, without giving them too much information about where we work and what we do, I will just say we do we're like a pediatric virus prevention technicians, no big deal.
Involved in schools.
We work in education facilities, and it's so crazy to see the new updates for like coronavirus. For example, the distancing stickers on the cafeteria for the kids, and they have them on the ceilings too, so they can just look up and be able to see, oh, I'm supposed to stand right here or right under this. We're putting up signs everywhere throughout the school where we're like on trees, we're putting signs that say internet access, because they're extending the Wi-Fi, so that because I work in a school that's like low income families and stuff like that, and a lot of them don't have access to the internet, so they can come to our school, and even after we close, or we can't let them in, they can still use the Wi-Fi in the parking lot, so they can park, do some homework, or they're outside when it gets a little cool. Texas is very, very hot right now. They can just pull up to the school and get some free Wi-Fi, man. Like it's like mind blowing to me, man. I'm like passing out PPE and like face shields and face masks, and there's like temperature checks and mandatory hand sanitizer squirts.
Yeah, it's like on the daily, and now it's like even more so, even like hourly. It's a big change that everyone is adjusting to. Yeah. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work from everybody in the community, trying to keep each other safe. We're working class musicians, people. We
gotta
work
have
hard.
that day job.
We work hard, get paid every week, but the other thing that came around and waiting on maybe another time, those stimulus checks.
Stimulate me.
Stimulation on every channel.
Give me my Donnie Bucks.
Cha-ching. I mean, he's trying to buy the votes. Give me the money. You ain't getting my vote.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. What are you gonna do with your money? What are you gonna do if we were to get Donnie Bucks? What are you gonna do with it?
Pay bills.
Smart man.
Or buy a guitar. I don't know. Depends how I feel, I guess.
Yeah.
Just kidding, kind of.
You know, I'd like to do some home improvements. I have some projects that I have in mind, but I'm not gonna get overzealous, man. I mean, if he sends it, he sends it. If they don't, I mean, we're gonna keep striving, right? We're not gonna depend on the government to give us what we need. We need to get up, get out, and go get that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not tripping about it.
But it's a bonus, if it comes around.
It's a bonus, man. It's a bonus. It's a bonus. But I mean, as musicians, we definitely do. I mean, we're lucky ones. We are lucky. We are very fortunate that we have good jobs with benefits, and for the most part, we're taken care of. I'm not saying that we make a whole bunch of money, but we're able to survive and do what we need to do and take care of our families and all that stuff. But sometimes musicians do need a little bit of advocacy. Healthcare, man. I mean,
yeah, it's a big thing.
Equipment. I mean, just in music preservation, stuff like that. We are gonna get into that a little bit more next episode. We do have a special guest that we'll tell you about a little later.
Something that could benefit you if you are a musician.
Hopefully, we attract a lot of musicians to this podcast.
Yeah, I know we got a lot of musician friends, and hopefully they're listening right now.
Yeah, because there is going to be a test, you fuckers.
Study
way. Yo, so, are you wearing almost all black? It's, we're in mourning. Take a second.
Give me a second. I gotta get myself together for this.
Unfortunately, your boys fought hard. They fought very hard. But unfortunately, after 22 years,
Yeah.
you feel like Bob in La Bamba. Spurs,
Not my Spurs. That's all good. It was a good run. It's okay, Spurs. I still love you. Spurs all day. Over here. Know what I'm saying?
I'm sure Tim Duncan can hear you with those dreads. They're like antennas, dude. They're picking up everything. They're like, oh,
Timmy D.
Is that Felipe? You know what? I don't know, man. Maybe if they would have thrown Timmy in. What do you think?
He should have just got on the court, man. I don't know what he's afraid of.
Yeah, where was Tony Parker's hustle in this game?
Man, I don't know. That's what I was asking myself. Miss him and Manu. You already know. Come on. Real Spurs heads know.
Come on.
But it's been a very interesting time for sports. The NBA came back, right? They had to regroup and do a restart of their schedule. Had their teams play with coronavirus going on. It's crazy stuff going on in this world. And I'm a huge sports nerd and Spurs fan. So it was really cool to see. Really sad that they didn't make it to the playoffs, but they have a bright future. They got a lot of young players. It's all new, but I got hope.
They live to fight another day, man, and that's why they call it sport, because they won't always win, and it's always going to be a competition. So, let's get David Robinson back in there.
Where's he at, though?
He's out there somewhere, just like big pimpin', dude, just living the good life, nice and healthy, eating good,
spending G's.
Out there with Jay-Z and Pimp C. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, boo.
Rest in peace. Smoke some, bitch. Yo, so don't smoke. It's not good for you. Fucks up your lungs. Smoke what?
Like whenever you go to the doctor and they're like, "Do you smoke?" and you're like, "Smoke what?" And then they look at you like,
you're like, well, I guess now we know.
He just like looks at you funny and he just checks off yes.
Hey man, go to the doctor. Keep staying healthy. What are you doing to maintain yourself in peak quarantine shape?
Just drink water. Stay hydrated.
Chingo de agua.
I would say that's the main thing. Drink water. It's good for your body. It's good for your skin. It's good for your soul.
It's like motor oil for your kidneys, but like it's like it has the same function that motor oil has to a car. but water is like the motor oil to your kidney motor. You know what I'm saying, fucker? Drink your water, dude.
I like motor oil, like coffee, like real sludgy. Yum.
Just like dry Dr. Pepper. All sticky and shit, all stacky. You know, personally, man, Sarah is such a great person to have here. Sarah lives with Felipe and I, and she's always making us yummy food that is delicious and nutritious and good for us. And one tip that I can give the audience, our musicians out there that are eating Popeyes every day, Luis, you know, basically we can, what you can do, what we did here at the house, Eric Casa Guanajuato, was she cut up a bunch of veggies. She put, like, for example, in one container, she put carrots and sliced up celery. And then she bought all these little individual packets of hummus. It's great. You just pick it up, throw it in the lunch bag, you know, or like, you know, instead of reaching for like a bag of chips or like a sandwich or like the typical things you're always going to reach for. Because right now, everybody's gaining weight during this quarantine.
The quarantine 15
The quarantine
hitting
15. You know what I'm saying?
Also, man, the fruit that she cut up, the mangoes, the kiwi,
Oh,
the blueberries.
Stop it.
Man.
Yahweh.
What's the best fruit and why is it mango?
Yo, straight up.
I love it.
Yo, square business. I suck that mango bone, bro.
Yeah.
That shit is so motherfucking scrumptious, dog. Yo, I just had one today, and it was fucking intense, man.
Love it.
It was intense. So shout out to Sarah on the veggies
Sarah.
that she cuts up. She also puts she did like hard boiled eggs with like a little dill and like salt and pepper, and it's just like chilling a little bit of vinegar. You know, an amazing snack, and it's full of protein. And you know, so vegans, you know what I'm saying? Maybe just the first half of this segment, but it's, you know, a lot of people think, and I'm no expert. What the fuck do I know? I got a big old panza, but from what I've heard in my time in the medical field, it's always like it's more about what you put in as far as like your nutrition and, you know, what you're drinking, what you're eating, and not so much your exercise regimen and doing 1,000 sit-ups and 200 push-ups. Like, that helps, yes, but first let's watch what we're doing in our bodies. And
yeah, one thing I've noticed a lot is, for myself, it's taking the time to make the food. You know, you can make something healthy and good for you and delicious instead of choosing convenience. You know, it's easy to drive up to the drive-thru and get yourself a double meat, double cheese, or whatever.
Shut your mouth.
Get yourself a bag of chips, open up the soda, and then, you know, it tastes good, but, you know, overall, I think it's better to take the time and make something for yourself.
Yeah.
Like in the kitchen.
Yeah. Get yourself a Sarah.
Get yourself a Sarah. Hey, good luck.
Oh man, it's so hard to eat good sometimes, man. I'll tell you one thing that I really miss BC is going to a magical place called Taco Palenque, where
What's that place?
Taco Palenque? It's like what TC's or Taco Cabana want it to be. But this is a restaurant from my hometown, Laredo, Texas. And basically, like, the food is great. You know, whatever you want. The drinks are great, whatever.
What do you get from there? What do you like to eat from there?
Oh, dog. I just, look, this is the poor man's Taco Palenque meal, right? And, like, my Laredo people will feel me on this. You buy yourself one pirata, which is a taco with 2 tortillas. It comes with 2 tortillas. And it's bean and cheese with world-famous fajitas. Now, these fajitas are serious, dog. They're serious. You can eat any old bean and cheese. You can eat any old fajita. These tortillas, these beans, and these fajitas, bro.
That combo.
They are so on. They are lit. They are amazing tasting, right?
I'm getting hungry.
So you get one taco, 2 tortillas. Now here is where you freak them, right? They got these things called totopos. Here in San Antonio, y'all call them chips, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you go to a restaurant here in San Antonio, you pull up, they give you some chips and salsa, right? They give you some red salsa or some green salsa, and they give you some chips, Sometimes they're very thin and they just crumble.
That's usually standard. A lot of Mexican restaurants in San Antonio.
Standard. But at Taco Palenque, you walk up and you just grab as many chips. Oh, I'm sorry, totopos as you want.
Oh,
and totopos, the difference is they are golden, almost. They're like golden. Man, they're just beautiful chips. They're so thick. They're bubbly chips. They are perfectly salted, perfectly hot. They keep them underneath these lamps, right? And not only that, but there's a salsa bar that I dare any place in San Antonio, and dare I say in Texas, that has a better salsa bar. And I'm not just talking salsas. I'm talking red, green, quemada, ranchera. We're talking like also like cremas, aderezos. You're talking about
the cremas too?
Dude, you're talking about pickled cucumbers, radishes, cabbage, lemons. They got this beautiful pink cabbage that's pickled, and it's just... So the point is, you get your taco, you load up on 5 pounds of chips and salsa, you stack your taco full of salsas and all the stuff that they have to offer in the salsa bars, all the cremas and everything, and the idea is you eat your first taco on top of your tortilla, your extra tortilla, and everything that falls off, you eat it for the second taco.
Oh.
It's a magical experience, and I've been wanting to take a lot of my friends like Felipe and Sarah to this experience. Unfortunately, we are living AC after Corona, and that's not hygienic right now, and I don't think they're doing it anyway. So that's what I miss. What do you miss about quarantine? Or what do you miss about life BC?
Hearing you talk about that, it's making me miss dining in at restaurants.
Mouth is watering.
You know, going to a restaurant, sitting down, enjoying the ambiance.
Ordering some drinks.
Yeah, getting some drinks, sitting down at a table with a few people, even family, friends, whatever. But aside from that, the main thing for me is going to shows, seeing live bands, any kind of show, man. It's before this, BC, shows were happening every weekend. We were playing them. Touring band would come through. We'd go check it out, dance, have a good time. That's what I miss most. I'm getting all nostalgic here.
Oh man, I miss it too, man. I've just like you, I'm sure. I've been going to shows since my young days.
Oh yeah.
What was your first concert?
My first actual concert, I saw A Perfect Circle in Austin at the Frank Irwin Center.
That was not what I was expecting.
I went to like a couple of local shows, but actual concert, that was the very first one.
Yeah.
And that was pretty amazing. I'm a big fan of that band, and that singer was dope.
Wow.
What about you? What was your first one?
My first one, I want to say my first real concert. I gotta say, just with a little bit of context, when I was a kid, I used to follow this band around who was from the neighborhood called Mute. So when I was 9 years old, I was getting into this place called Sal's Pizza in Laredo, Texas, which was a music venue.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just tell them that I'm a roadie, and they're like, "Oh, that guy looks kind of young. Oh, he's good, man. He's good." So I've been going to shows since I was little, but like for me to like get a ticket, pay for a concert, don't laugh at me. I went through the emo phase, and the first band that I saw was when I was in my sophomore year, I believe, of high school, and it was this band called Aiden. I don't know if you remember this band called Aiden that was on Victory Records. So it was like a Victory Records showcase.
I remember Victory Records. They had a bunch of bands.
Yeah. So it was Aiden, it was Silverstein.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It was Hawthorne Heights, and it was Bayside. But here's here's the fucked up thing, though. This is my first, like, real concert, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm, like, super psyched for it. I go with my two friends, and the day of the show, Bayside's drummer died in a car accident.
Really?
Like the whole band wrecked.
Are you serious?
And the drummer died. And then, like, they came out, and, like, everybody was all, like, super bummed out. And, like, I got to give them props because the other three bands that pulled in, you know, which was Silverstein, Hawthorne Heights, and Aiden, man, they brought it, dude. They were, like, you could tell they were, like, working off the like emotional energy of losing John, the drummer from Bayside. Like that was crazy, man. I remember going up to the merch guy and just being like, "Yo, man, for real, for real." He was like, "Yo, man, he's gone." I was like, "Wow, dude, that's insane." And this is like my first concert. I'm just like, "What is going on?" You know?
I remember hearing about that. I didn't realize that was that show. Wow.
Yeah, I went to that.
I had a lot of friends who were really into Bayside and those bands as well. I can just imagine the crowd of people and all the scene hair and all the girl pants.
I remember the lead singer from Aiden saying like, San Antonio has the most amazing, and I was just like, oh, you're just saying that, right? But then I saw Bayside a couple times after that show, where they were like rolling by with another Victory Record showcase, and like they said it again, like, oh man, San Antonio has the best energy, you know. So like I believe it, man. And then I like saw an article online where like rock fans in San Antonio are just like balls to the wall, just like super dedicated.
Well, that stuff blew up, and it's still pretty big here. You know, they have emo nights, or BC. They had like emo nights at clubs and bars, and they would get packed.
Emo rockin' ass fools.
Good times.
Yeah. I mean, we got to do something, man, because you know it's not just our physical health, but it's our mental too, man. And you know we're getting cooped up in here, and you know, I've definitely started feeling a little bit of the cabin fever. Now, I don't want to complain so much. I'm definitely living a very comfortable life, but you know, it's important to keep our mental nice and it's just like we do push-ups and we do yoga and squats and whatever you want. Like we gotta try to keep our mind sharp. What is something that you're doing as someone who is employed, who's a musician, a creative, to kind of keep your mind a little focused and, you know, uncluttered during these weird times?
Usually just trying to stay in touch with what's going on around me, whether it's at work, at home, or reading about the news, national news, whatever. I like to be in tune with what's going on.
Sure.
And it's not always easy, because some days it's super chaotic. The world is a crazy place. There's always something going on. Some days it's chill. Some days there's more than one thing going on. But to me, I just really enjoy like navigating through all that stuff and knowing about things and just filling my brain with information.
Sure. That too can be an escape. Even though you kind of dig deep, it kind of helps you process a lot of information. What about like meditation or anything like that? Do you dabble in any of that, or how do you meditate or unwind or just kind of get your mind in a different headspace? Got any tips for the folks?
Well, I'm a big weirdo, so I do all kinds of weird things, you know, like, well, for me, like as a musician, I play guitar or riff on some things, you know. I know not everybody's able to do that, but you know, that's how I usually do things. Yeah. I would say that would probably be the biggest meditation for me. Would be just playing some chords, jam it out, do stuff like that. You know, my creative side is usually hanging out.
Yeah. What do you feel about taking like a hard reset, psychedelics? What would you say? Like, would you tell people like, oh, that's a good avenue to take, or like that's a good way to unclutter? Or,
yeah,
you know,
that's an avenue to take. Yeah, definitely. It's something that I've done, and I mean, I know myself and I know my mind and my body, so I know I can handle things like that. I've talked about it with different friends. Some people say things like, oh man, I could never do that. Some people are like, oh man, what was it like? But having those conversations is cool because, you know, just sharing the experience. And for me, whenever I do something like that, it really expands my mind even more. And for me personally, I'm able to connect with anybody about different things because it opened my mind to that.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
It's just a very hard, like the best way I can describe it is like when you hit reset on your computer and then like it's like with got all these windows all opened up and then you just hit reset and it just closes them all down, hard reset. But it's a process to get there, and like you feel every single window closing, and it's like you start with the clean slate. And it's a beautiful experience. I can sit here and tell you that that's one of the most important things that I've ever done with my life. And I wish that it wasn't so demonized and we can have better discussions and more research and, have people understand it's not just a bunch of hippies going, whoa, man, that was super cool, dude.
Yeah, that stigma is really big, but, I mean, in the past few years, it was crazy to me to see how psychedelics, psilocybin mushrooms, were decriminalized
specifically
in Colorado.
Yeah.
And that's a huge step, something that I never thought would happen because it's such an underground culture.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. You know what I mean?
If you know, you know. I mean, I feel like everything eventually is going to get legalized anyways. Just like, look at the herb movement. At this point, the major corporations are just trying to figure out how they're going to tax it to us and how they're going to manufacture it and how they're going to control the whole thing.
Business, baby.
Business, baby. Get that money. But you know what? I'm going to give you guys just one more health tip, and that is don't pass the blunt. Don't pass the blunt. We are in Corona times, and here to give us a little more information about that is the CDC. Let's take it away. Oh, what's up, Blair? Yo. Oh, I guess we shouldn't shake hands, right? No shaking hands today.
Nah, man.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. All right.
So what's up, man?
Yo, what's good, man? It's been a long quarantine.
Yeah, dog. As long as we don't shake hands or sit too close, we should be good.
Yeah, it's all good, man. I'm just trying to kick it, put something in the air. You know what I'm saying?
Let's get it, dog. I'm about to spark this blunt I rolled earlier.
Oh, yeah, dog. That smells so good.
Man, I just picked this up from the McKinley boys. They got that good shit. That's the spot.
They them boys, man. Got that fire for sure. Man, I'm so glad to see you, dog.
Me too, man. It's been a very long quarantine.
Take it. Yeah, man. Smoke, don't choke. Smoke, don't choke. Yo, pass that over here. Let me show you how smoke doggy dog do it. Oof.
What? Nah, man. This is a Percy blunt. I got a grinder and some wraps if you want to twist one up with your shit.
Yo, why you bugging? Let me hit that fat bleezy, dog.
Nah, man. I don't share blunts no more.
Dog, it's me. We've been smoking blunts together since kindergarten. Why you tripping?
Sorry, man. I shouldn't even have you here. We're in quarantine.
Come on, man. I came all the way from outside 1604, down 281, straight to I-10. I exited Fredericksburg and turned on Magnolia to be here. You're not going to let me hit that blunt?
CDC guidelines specifically mention no blunt passing during quarantine. If you pass the blunt, you pass the Rona.
Really? The CDC said that? Come on, dog. I didn't bring any weed.
Sorry, man. I'm taking this shit very serious.
So I'm just supposed to sit here and watch you smoke that blunt?
I mean, I'm chilling. I'm still glad to see you.
Yeah, me too, man. All right, I'm gonna head out.
All right, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, all right, say hello to your mother for me.
Only you can prevent the spread of COVID-19 with the homies. Don't share blunts with the squad, or you could hurt the ones around you. Remember, if you pass the blunt, you pass the Rona. A message from the CDC about non-contact smoke sessions.
Welcome back to the Trigger Words podcast. Thank you to the CDC for those words on how to stay safe with these coronavirus times and passing the blunt, or rather not passing the blunt, so you don't pass the Rona.
Don't pass the Rona.
Do not pass it, por favor.
Stay safe.
All right, just roll the little tiny joints, and just roll them by yourself, and then just kick it with your homie. Have them do it prison style, you know what I mean, through the glass. Give me some window love. Yo, that was so much fun to record. So as we mentioned, those are gonna be the things that we're gonna include with trigger words. It's gonna be the music. It's going to be an interview, which we pretty much interviewed each other. It's going to be a skit, and we're going to give you all this great information. One other thing that we mentioned is we want to give them a word, right? And we were actually applying it to us going into recording this first episode. Felipe, what was that word?
I'm having a brain fire right now. I need you to tell me what that was.
Resfeber.
Resfeber. That's right. Yeah. See,
and what does Resfeber mean?
It's the word of the day. It's a brand new word to me as well. It's whenever you're going to go into something new, like a new situation. For us, this is our first time recording this, getting this out there. So, you get some nerves. Your heart starts pumping. It starts palpitating. And it's because you're going into this new situation.
It's the restless pace of a traveler's heart. And we are traveling and expanding and checking out so much cool stuff. Trigger words, man, it's crazy. It's words that will trigger us to have certain things, or think in a certain way, or trigger a memory or whatever it is, right? I do just want to give this little bit of context as a kind of like some final words before we wrap up the episode here. Trigger words. It was I don't want to say I invented it, but it was like something that came up in a conversation. We were playing downtown with Los Nahualatos. You were there, and we were playing. What's that stage for Fiesta where we have to like walk across the bridge, and then there's like a little stage. We get like the princess parking for it, and it's like all super badass. Anyways, we played a gig. Joaquin was there, and we were all there, and we were all kind of just talking and stuff. And I had said something about like getting a drink, be like, man, well, where's the whiskey at, or something like that. And I saw Joaquin's face just like. I saw a change in his face, and I can tell that I triggered him by saying like, "Oh, it'd be nice to get a drink," because we were all thinking like, "Yo, we want to get a drink," and then but he didn't say anything, and he just kind of went like, "Ah," and then I was just like, "Trigger words, huh?" And then ever since then, we started saying it, and then like we'd be at the house, be like, "Yo, balitos, oh, don't say trigger words."
Yeah, man, all kinds of different ones. For me, also, we were talking about it earlier. Anytime somebody mentions the Spurs, I'm just like, what? Spurs all day. I get all hyped, I get triggered.
Yeah. Party is another one that's a trigger for me. It's like, what? Y'all ready to turn up or what?
Trigger words.
So anyways, I did just want to give that little bit of context as to what trigger words is about. I love words. Words are chemicals. Words, I always give the example that the sword will not strike until the pen writes the word, so words are powerful. So watch how you use them, and watch how you navigate through this experience with them. Try to choose the right ones, and read and try to learn new words. We'll have a new word for you guys every single time. I promise you, we got plenty of words we can share with you guys that you may or may not have heard. And if you have, cool. If you haven't, I think you're gonna really like it. So as far as me, for myself, I just want to give some final words. I just want to say, call your mom, drink some water, try not to be an asshole, What about you, man? What do you want to say to the people?
Just take it day by day. Do what you can. Do the best you can with what you got.
Con mucho, mucho amor.
Oh, yeah.
Like Walter Mercado. Yo, just before we get out of here, too, really quick, is there any new local music that you're checking out that you maybe want to let the people know about?
Stuff that we would see, BC. I haven't seen it in a while. I wanted to mention Bear Brass.
Bear Brass.
Like Bear County, BEXAR.
That's with the X.
All brass band. They're dope. They play every once in a while, but they're up and coming. Keep an eye out.
Shout out to the boys, man. Ryan, Ricky, Andrew,
Dan.
Leo, Dan, Krog. Come on.
Yeah.
There's too many of y'all, man. Y'all are like the Wu-Tang Clan of brass bands.
That's right, yeah. You best protect your brass.
Watch your brass, bro. Yeah, so Next episode, we will be interviewing Sarah Rocha. She will be here. Sarah Rocha will be in the house because she lives here. But she will be here. Also, I forgot to mention my musical, my local music suggestion. I want to let everybody know about. They may or may not have known, but they went through a name change recently. This is Yanni Yelly Glowy Floaty, formerly known as Voodoo Boogaloo. Shout out to Logan and Stephanie. If you don't know them, go look them up. Besides their music, they are just awesome people, and they're good friends. And they actually like quit their jobs and like they like completely shut down everything in their lives to just record this new album and live the musician life. And then coronavirus happened, but they're still out there, man, doing their thing, and they're still giving music their everything, and that's a beautiful thing. So if not anything else, for them not giving up and being an example to the rest of us to keep working hard on our music. So I just want to give that shout out to Yanni Yelly Glowy Floaty.
Yeah, keep an eye out for them. They have such a dope sound.
Yeah, great energy on stage too. Before we get out of here, let me hear you give a shout out to a badass woman, dude.
And give a shout out to my peeps. My mother.
Your mother.
My mother. Yeah, of course. Hi, Mom. She's the greatest woman in my life. Love ya.
You are the best, Rosie. Thank you so much for brightening up our house with all the cactuses that you give us.
The little babies.
And always sending little food and drinks. And thank you for sending Felipe here. I do want to give a shout out to a badass woman too. She's gonna be a woman. She's only 12 years old, but she's gonna be 13 very soon. So she's in the process of becoming a woman. But I want to give a shout out to my niece Nana. She told me a story the other day, and I was just so impressed with her. I was blown away. Just how great. How much it gave me so much hope for the future. She was telling me a story where she has a male friend who recently came out of the closet to her, and he pretty much told her that he was into what he was into, and she was like super cool about it, and she was just like, hey, that's cool, and there's nothing different about you in my eyes, and they're continuing to be friends, and they just love each other. And it's so crazy that at their very young age, tender age, 12 years old, that they're so mature. And that just goes to show that hate and prejudice is all drilled into us, and it's bullshit.
That's a beautiful thing, man. It's really great when young people like that can support each other. It means a lot, I'm sure, to both of them.
Yeah, it was very inspiring. So I have to give her a shout out. And I guess shout out to her mom too, and shout out to my mom because they're raising her, and my brother too, man. He's an awesome dude. He's raising two beautiful girls. So shout out to him too. I know I kind of went over, but that's okay.
That's all good, man. A lot of love out here.
Lot of love, con mucho, mucho amor, like Walter Mercado. This has been the first episode of the Trigger Words podcast. Shout out to my boy Yell Tone. That's my boy Ethan. He is actually the dude's beat that you heard at the top of the podcast, and you'll be hearing it again. Doctor, till we see y'all again. Peace.